A lot of people are wondering just how exactly can the Navy get to 355 ships by 2034? Well, taking an interesting look at the 30-year shipbuilding plan, they have a plan laid out. Now, in the near term, Navy officials tell Warrior they expect to get to as many as 301 ships by next year in terms of production. Now, there are right now about 280-something ships that are part of the fleet. There's been a long-standing push on the part of this administration and the Navy itself to massively expand the fleet. During the Cold War, the numbers were much, much higher. Now, here's how they plan to get here. They want to add as many as 30 destroyers between now and 2034. That's a massive amount. They have 22 Flight 2As, which are the current cutting-edge destroyers, and then 8, which have already been contracted, of the Flight 3 destroyers, DDG-51s. Now, these have a new radar that's ostensibly 30 times more sensitive than existing radar. Developers have said it could see a baseball in Yankee Stadium. It's able to see things half the size at twice the distance. There's also more onboard power, different kinds of weapon systems. So Flight 3 are a tremendous step forward when it comes to destroyer technology. It's a large number of destroyers in terms of an attack fleet, and clearly a strategic look at being able to close with and attack the enemy in open maritime warfare. They're also looking at 15 LCS, littoral combat ships. Those are coming sooner in the nearer term. It's part of a fleet-wide goal. Those are both littoral ships as well as upgunned for deep water warfare with over-the-horizon missiles. They're being delivered in an incremental fashion, and the Navy is looking for more LCSs. In fact, more of them are coming in the near term. Also, perhaps the largest increase, we've all heard a lot about this, 32 attack submarines between now and 2034. They're stepping up the production in the near term, in the off years when they're not building a Columbia-class, the nuclear-armed submarines. They plan to push up to 3 Virginia-class submarines per year. That's attack submarines. Now, Block 3, and then which is already equipped with a handful of new technologies, those are being produced. They're moving toward Block 5, which is having something called Virginia payload modules, which will massively expand the firepower of attack submarines, enable them to go all the way up to 40 Tomahawk missiles to hold targets at risk from longer distances, and engineer vertical launch tubes that actually have the ability to accommodate new weapons as they come. The Navy is also massively stepping up its technology on attack submarines. They've already launched something called the USS South Dakota, which incorporates a handful of never-before-deployed technologies, different kinds of coating for the exterior to make it more stealthy, different kinds of quieting technologies for propulsion. Now, of course, for security, a lot of the details aren't available of this, but they also have different antennas for underwater ISR. Attack submarines have been in demand by combatant commanders, especially the Pacific. They're able to get closer to coastal or island areas, conduct reconnaissance missions, stay in contact with underwater mine-countering drones, as well as other submarines and surface ships. The idea is to be in position to not have the enemy know you're there, launch massive attacks, and gain crucial combat-relevant intelligence information. They're also looking between now and 2034, not so much in the near term, but the already underway frigate, which is a new upgunned LCS-type ship. So clearly there's a fast track here to up the number of ships for the entire Navy because of how serious the current threat environment is. Kris Osborn, Warrior Maven.